Welcome to the ClashCast podcast. I'm Colton Cruz.
I'm Wyatt Garland.
Brianna Marshall.
Welcome to the podcast where we analyze and talk about anime.
And punch things with our mouths.
Today's topic, Bleach.
There it is. And in case your ears get full of what we're about to spit, we got some prime eye content over on the YouTube channel, ClashCast, so you can check that out, see our lovely faces. But right now we're gonna go down that road.
Why are we doing this?
Because it's important.
So
we
Bleach, I feel is like it's like the puberty anime.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's everything about it is like I don't know. Like I know Wyatt and I went through this phase.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, yeah, you wear black and you're a serious teenager. Like
you're a soul.
And like it makes, but like on the inside it's like, yeah, but like mankind and like samurai swords, like
yeah, and like spiritual. Well, the thing about Bleach is it was the. I mean, it's the equivalent. Tokyo Ghoul's taking another angle, but it's the equivalent to Tokyo Ghoul. It's the edgy.
Oh, it's way better than Tokyo Ghoul.
Well, obviously, I know. I mean, Tokyo Ghoul is a gore hook bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like that. But it is very in that same bracket of it's the dark one.
And like I mean the other reason to like talk about it is one of the three shonen pillars of like our time.
Yeah,
like let's be real.
I mean, it was literally the cover of like every Shonen Jump.
Yeah,
like,
I mean it was Naruto and Bleach for decades.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have Dragon Ball Z. We didn't grow up and see Goku Toon Super Saiyan. That wasn't in our time bracket. When I started watching Dragon Ball Z in like grade school, they must have been still. They were on Majin Buu, so I missed all of that.
The Shippuden time skip happened while we were in high school.
Yes,
like that's crazy to think about.
Okay, so this is the important one. How did you absorb Bleach? How was that put into your body?
Manga, like all manga, like because it was, whatever, like, you know, it was on the, like, sponge phase, and Bleach was that other big one after I, like, caught up on, like, Naruto, so I was like, I guess I'll read Bleach, and so just click. Click through those pages,
You were just...
You know, I was actually manga, like, I lived over in Japan, and, like, on our air base, they had, like, a little section of manga, and we saw a lot of the Shonen Jumps, and so I just, like, piled up on that, because, I mean, I was 12 years old, I was like, ooh, this tall, skinny, like, orange hair punk.
Yeah.
Edgelord. Oh, he's
cute.
Hot. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. That was a choice.
He was the blandest person in the world.
Yeah. But that's the thing for boys in high school, like pubescent boys. Yeah. They look at that and they're like, that person has no personality or character. I could do that. Like that's the appeal.
Yeah.
Like, it's disgusting.
For
but it's
me, the way that I absorbed Bleach was obviously through the manga. That's how I caught up ahead. But I remember exclusively, like, this is a big deal. Thank you, YouTube. Shout out.
Oh, not even YouTube. That was iTunes for me.
All the episodes were on YouTube for free.
That was the first golden age.
Oh yeah. I watched all of the Soul Society arc. I sat down one Saturday night and I watched probably 20 episodes of Bleach through the Bankai part.
Oh my god, my life is a lie.
I saw Ichigo go from like baby stage literally to chilling in the hot tub and then just like going to Bankai in a night, and I'm like, I literally like came out like, they're going Bankai, it's like Super Saiyan, what the like, it was a big deal for me. It was a big deal.
Dude, that was back when arcs were like all shitting on Bleach. Like that's back when like arcs were like a reasonable length. You know what the arc after that is? The entire rest of the manga. It's like, oh, we do like a little beginning arc. Oh, and then we introduce like a captain from like Soul Society, and we do like we do the Soul Society retrieval arc, and then the rest of the manga
they go to Hector
is just like them trying to beat Aizen like for the rest of the series. No, they do garbage Fullbringer and whatever the thing after Fullbringer is afterwards. But like literally for 8 years, like there is just one goddamn unending garbage arc. Like Bleach falls within that arc.
There's
the
just
quality
so
just
many
goes
like
to shit.
garbage filler arcs.
Yeah.
All I remember. I'm just like skip.
And that's the thing. Like they canceled the anime because they were like, okay, we're gonna cancel the manga in December. It was like summer.
Yeah.
And so they went ahead and like after the anime had already done like 20 filler arcs to just fill in because everybody was like you. They were just like, give me more Bleach, but I don't read manga.
Yeah.
So they canceled the anime, which was like making a ton of money and stuff. But then they let the mangaka just keep going because they had nothing to replace. And he was like, well, I didn't end the series in the time that you gave me, so I guess you'll just have to keep extending. They extended it for like 3 years.
Yeah, he was still drawing.
That is the speed at which Bleach works.
He was, I think, there was a video that described him very well, and it was that he just likes, he's an illustrator, he likes to draw.
Yeah.
He's not a sequential artist is someone whose goal is most, to tell a story, where his goal is to draw cool shit. And
that's the thing. Remember,
makes sense.
If you look at the beginning of the manga, you'll see he draws backgrounds and things in.
Nice stuff.
By the end of the Aizen arc, he just gives up. He's like, oh, they're just fighting in the sky, so I don't have to draw anything.
There's just little lines in the background. It's there it is.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Walking on air is a cool technique, but it was clearly
so he doesn't have to draw
dodge.
anything.
It was clearly I'll just do some buildings in the bottom. I remember huge sections of the anime.
With Hekyo Mundo,
why is everybody in the sky?
Yeah.
What's the whole? It was this angle. I'm like, oh, it's at the bottom of their feet.
And then Hueco Mundo was it's a desert, but everything's white.
Hekyo Mundo.
But everything's
white, so I don't have to
draw
ink
anything.
I don't have to ink that
Which
shit.
I do have to say, his art style was he was known for being
contrast.
Ichigo is gonna have a huge black ink bed, which is cool. And then Ulquiorra, those people wore white but had black eyes and stuff.
Oh my god.
The art was super cool for all that.
For a while, yeah. One of the things I just remembered. So Grimjaw was hardcore. My style is obviously the character for me.
Midriff, so yeah.
Prop top. Exactly. Super. The hair and the gym. He was punk edgelord.
Yeah, he was the bad boy.
Exactly. He was the scrapper. And I remember they set him kind of up to be this sort of rival to Ichigo. And then Ichigo just nukes him. Yeah. And then they're like, oh no, it was Iroquois all the way. It was the other guy.
Ulquiorra, Well, everybody is a rival to Ichigo though.
Because he didn't make any other characters.
Remember in the Invasion of Soulsaic, and they have that guy who's not even a Soul Reaper that is part of the people who launched them into the city.
Yeah.
And they have a rivalry, and it's what the this guy doesn't even have a sword. He can't be rival. And then he fights Renji, and then he fights Byakuya, and then he fights it's just dude, you don't have But he does. That's the thing. He does all that. And it's okay. So everybody just fights Ichigo, and he's just gonna pound through everybody.
It's a Goku style.
That's cool. But then they do that in the Aizen extended arc. I remember when the Ulquiorra fight is happening.
Yeah.
And then they cut outside so
other captains.
What all the other peons are doing. And they do this whole one where it's not even the captains. It's they're third in lines, fight a group of they fight the Ginyu Force basically.
So stupid.
For literally 6 months. It's 6 months of human real publishing time. And I just remember being this is it. This is over. This is the end. That's when I stopped. That's when I was that's when I gave up. That's when I threw the towel in the towel. I don't know.
Because there's so much to keep you going in Bleach. There always was cool stuff. I remember one of the coolest things I ever bragged about reading. I was explaining the manga to somebody. Actually, Chris Pratt and I was yeah, there's this really cool part where Zenpachi, who doesn't have, that's his name, right? The Scarface? Yeah, I'm
Kenpachi.
Kenpachi, there we go. He doesn't have a Bankai, famously, because he's too hardcore to talk to his damn sword. I just swing it around. He just has a shit ton of energy. And he's fighting someone who's actually giving him trouble, and he's well, I guess I had to do this trick because the general told me I needed to have something. And he puts both hands on his sword, and you back up because you're motherfucker never had
been drawn two hands on his sword.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good because it's just one slice. Beautiful.
And that was preceded immediately by a giant-breasted centaur woman though.
We're not gonna talk about her. Was it Nell?
Who was underage baby minutes before?
Yes. Oh my god.
She was a baby that transformed into a giant
into an
adult.
No,
this was the worst part. I remember when I first watched it, I was God, she's so mean because she was just so energetic and whiny at the time, but me. And then all of a sudden there's just boobs, and I just had to pause the episode, and I was just what?
Because
I need an adult place.
And you know what? I was okay.
And then he takes Kenpachi and makes him put 2 hands on his dick.
Yeah. It's rough stuff. It's rough stuff.
Oh, it's moments like that where you're just man, Bleach is just the best.
In the Hueco Mundo, he Ichigo even fight we talked about him fighting Grimjaw and Ulquiorra. Yeah. He also fights 3 other characters that we can't even remember because they were they're the people who were that rank before. And it's why did we do that?
Yeah.
Why did you need to stretch it out?
He fights the Gammy. You remember
big guy? It's some just dude.
Him?
It's why?
At the final, and it's they all have this weird sort of very strange flashback right before they all die? Because he did that one time because he realized, oh wait, I'm actually getting rid of this character. I had one more thing I wanted to say, and then he got stuck because he kept doing that, so it ended up giving this really weird perspective on the characters. Like
Which would have been cool if it was like One Piece style and it was like, oh, we set up like that this meant something at the end. But it was these throwaway garbage characters.
I did not need a flashback to tell me that one character was a sexist. Do you remember that one? Where it was like, they did a flashback and they're like, oh, like, why don't you like her? And he's like, no, it's just because she's a woman. I'm actually just really sexist.
God.
But they make a point of doing like a whole chapter just about him for no reason other than to describe that he's evil.
Yeah.
But does that mean something? How?
Like that's the thing. Yeah, it was just like, yep, he sure was a bad guy. It's like, all right, like.
Remember, there's some moments in Bleach where we're just like, that's a choice.
I mean, maybe if they like beat him black and blue, then you're supposed to feel like, okay, well, he was actually.
Or if maybe
bad.
like Ichigo learned not to be a sexist from it or something, but that doesn't happen.
Well, he didn't have anything.
Let's be real.
Like, it's just dumb.
Another bad thing about Bleach is everything after the Aizen arc. Yeah. What was that? Like, you made an 8-year arc. Fucking finish that trash.
Just put it down. Put it down.
Fullbringer was a filler arc that he made in the manga. And then the next one he did after, I could have seen them being like, all right, you're going to go the existential tier because you're Japanese. Like, you just have to.
You did the Yaoi
And you
thing,
bring
right?
Aizen back. I don't remember what they were called. They were Nazis. They were Nazis. That's what they were. They were Nazis, and they brought in the Arrow Guys family. Like,
yeah,
and
the
they
Quincy's.
were like, and I just remember, I wanted to remember when they were ending. I remember, we were at the villa when we lived together, and I told, this kid who always came over, I was like, yeah, like, they're finally gonna end Bleach. And he was like, well, I know what the, like, secret's gonna be anyway. It's that Ichigo is half Quincy. And I remember he felt like, and it's true, that's what ends up happening in the end of the season.
Obviously.
But I remember he was so proud of it, and I just remember thinking to myself, it wasn't even that I was, like, surprised. I was like, who gives a shit? like, I was like, I would not be, like, I was like, he's, just the way he said it, like, in such a, like, bragging way, like, that's his master plan, and I was like, that's stupid, first of all. Second of all, who gives a shit? Like, third of all, it's like, dude, like, of course he's half Quincy.
Yeah. Like, you could
it's an anime.
What's the worst way that this series ends? He's half Quincy.
Yeah, exactly. All of his characters were so tall and thin and blunt because he always drew the same model that you just pushed them once and they fell on their ass. Like, there's no depth or weight to them at all, so he could feel comfortable tacking on things or taking things off. He also couldn't write a decent female character for whatever goddamn reason.
What do you mean?
Example, all of them.
So you have what? Orihime, who is the original. Well, you have Rukia, who's the original female.
Yeah.
But I would argue there's some good stuff in Rukio.
Yeah.
But because they go to Hueco Mundo and they up her. They're like, oh no, like, I know we spent the whole like good arc of this series them rescuing her and her being like a damsel in distress.
They just never.
But then she fights like a person.
Oh my god. What they needed to do is just shift things because they had all these mini captains, you remember? Like the lieutenants or whatever.
Well, they had the lieutenant captains, then they had like that tier beyond.
Exactly. It's just like a couple of them did eventually just become captains. All the important ones should just become captains. They should have just killed a couple captains on the top layer and then shifted some people
through
up.
some characters, show some traits. But the thing is, the arc was too long. That was the problem. They can't do that because like they didn't even fight the bad guy yet. So people can't die.
Aizen was. I mean, we can talk about the glory days because Soul Society Rescue like. Aizen ended up being a really good baddie, and the traitorous thing was heavy. It worked, and then he also had a really great line at the end when he took the soul orb thing. What is it? The thing that he made, whatever,
out of or whatever.
Yeah, he took it out of Rukia. He even said, he's like, huh. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. And it's like, that's because half of it's in Ichigo, and you're so smart, but you don't know that. And you feel like it's worth it that you watched that first season, and it's a nice little bow. You're like, oh, okay, so this is the whole thread. But then they just there's nothing builds from that. Yeah. It's just a knot.
Like, it got into that, like, thing about, so, like, part of what makes Invasion of Soul Society so good is it's like, all right, we know there are 13 captains and vice captains. Let's meet them all. And like that's the fun thing is it gets addictive. You're like, oh, what's his sword superpower? Basically, it's like, oh, okay. And then there's Bankai introduced, and you're like, oh, so all of the and you get told all of the captains have a Bankai, and you're like, all right, so we gotta see all of these Bankais. Yeah. I want to see all these sword superpowers. But it just perpetuates from there. It's like, oh, now this character, what is his sword power? and then he just plays coy with it. So like by the end of the Aizen cycle, we should have seen every single character's sword superpowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he doesn't. You get through and you're getting to the end and you're like, we're not seeing all the sword superpowers.
That's the only thing you had to do.
That's why I'm but it's that addictive game thing. Like that's why I'm watching, because by the end of this series, you have to tell me every sword power.
Yeah.
That is like the promise that has been made, like unspoken promise. But you get on and he just doesn't do it. And he just doesn't do it. Instead, he keeps just making up powers for Ichigo to have.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the original vibe of Bleach? Do you remember the first opening when it was really Monster of the Week vibe? It was very 90s. Yeah. They had these, like, he, like, legit gave them all these, like, outfits and just, like, clothes to wear that were, like, his brand that he invented. Like, it was very unique. Yeah. It had this pop to it, and they were all, I mean, it was teenage, obviously. They were all looking like this and posing. But it had such potential, and then clearly they went to something, but it's like that, he took the easy way out.
Yeah.
He took the easy way out, and then it showed because everything else crumbled.
Well, it went from kind of like a Sentai manga with a, like, you know, like, spiritual edge to just a straight battle manga, like, over and over again.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, this is an example of that kind of not working. Like,
you can't, there is, and I know back then that was the go-to strategy. That was the smart thing to do. No, making a battle manga, you'll sell a bunch of money. But
it was just a weird twist, like, coming from that to that.
It wasn't, like, to just abandon all the characters.
I mean, that's kind of why I just stopped watching it in a sense.
Well, they set up that mystery of, like, oh no, like, Aizen betrayed, and you have the shopkeeper guy with the hat, and you're like, what's that whole, like, backstory?
Why
are you banned?
Bankai.
And that's the thing, like, it's just like, oh, like, that's the, like, kind of end goal. But it just takes so fucking long to get there.
Yeah.
And they make up all these superpowers for Ichigo to have, like, I remember, like, literally from the point where he gets the hollow mask, like, from the point where he kills Ukiura, like, with that, whatever that power is, I completely lose track.
Yeah. It's
after
just
that, like, it's
mud.
just like, oh, so he just gets a made-up power every time. Like,
it's dumb.
because that was the first one he didn't even, like, learn. Like, the mask, I remember he went and did a training arc, remember?
Yeah, he had to deal with that.
He had those other people who had gotten kicked out, and they could do the mask, too, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna,
the
like...
Vizards, is that what they're called?
I'm gonna learn how to use the mask for longer periods of time and maintain control. It's like, okay, like, we've got limits, and you're working, and you're growing. And then after that, it's like, well, I'm gonna run in there, I'm gonna get, like, half murdered, and then I'm gonna go into my fugue state, which isn't even, like, you know, like, cool in the sense that it's like, oh, like, a power awakens within me and I just do it. It's like, no, the fugue state is we get to go into his fucking mind.
Yeah.
We get to just, like, inception it for, like, another, like, month and a half. And then we're gonna come back out and struggle just the same.
Yep.
No,
but, like, for some reason we'll win. Like, whatever. Like,
just always win, pretty much.
There's no stacking, you know, it's too fast. There's no, like I said, there's no building.
Yeah.
It's doom. And it's a shame because, you know, there was always so much there. My fall in my heart of the series was when I saw the first filler arc. It was the Bount arc. You guys
saw it. Yeah, I never saw it because I didn't watch the...
Because I read all the manga or something. No, this was right before I read the manga because I was on the YouTube kick, right?
Yeah.
So I watched all the episodes on YouTube. That went down in, like, you know, a year or something. You can't do that. They were like, no. So then, like, I was just, you know, like, finding them. And... Or it was actually being shown on Adult Swim. I don't remember. The point is, it was the Bount arc, and they basically did vampires, which is a throwaway. Like, it's like easy. It's like they did vampires.
I don't remember that.
Did this take place in Soul Society or in the real world?
It was right after Soul Society. Ichigo had the Bankai.
Like, physically.
No, in the real world. It was in the real world.
Okay.
It was right after he got the Bankai. So he goes to the real world. And the big issue of that arc is he can't use his Bankai in the real world because there are things that are different. But those are never really gone into that well.
Okay.
So then he's got to fight all these people and not really be in control of his maximum power. And then, they're doing nothing but just slamming their heads into these vampires who just... One of them can turn things into snakes, and they just play that up way too long.
That's really...
He's turning everything into...
lame?
Yeah, it sounds good! Trust me, it's not. I wrote a character like that when I was 12.
Like, I guess, like, that was the thing. Were they in full battle mode, or did it feel more like the Monster of the Week?
It was Monster of the Week. They were running around, and nothing was happening, and it was like they spent forever trying to fight this one guy who had wind powers. I think it was so lame, but the big takeaway from it was me blinking, and it was over, and I was like, oh my god, the entire point of those 30 episodes is that we just wanted to say Ichigo can use his Bankai in the real world. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I just sat through all of that, and that's when I jumped to the manga, and I skipped, and then I'm like, oh, it's not here, cool! I think I remarked to you, and you're like, vampires, and I'm like, God damn it!
I don't remember.
Did I just suck down a quart of blood?
Dude, I remember that's when I hit in the anime for One Piece. I remember I hit the Davy Beck games or whatever.
Oh yeah, which is
great.
And
I thought they were just a like I got to it in the anime and I was like, oh, this is a filler arc, and I went to skip it and you were like, no,
that's in the manga.
That's in the manga, and like basically that past Skypiea I thought was just filler. And I'm reading the manga Skypiea. and I'm like, oh my god, he wrote this. Like,
the Davy Back fight is
no, I
weird.
like it in retrospect, like, for sure. But like at the time, I was like, this really just feels like filler.
Filler is really just an insulting thing, and it hurts.
I hate fillers.
But it's understandable because, well, it's a different medium. 15 pages a week is crazy. You can't do that in shit gold all the time.
I mean, I don't really read manga. I watch anime. Yeah. So it's like
so
if I look at the thumbs, if I see the bullshit and I'm like, this isn't part of the plot.
Well, see, like I'll take like a filler episode that is like a real episode, like
the Froppy episode.
Well, like like the Froppy episode. Like in One Piece, they do it sometimes too, where they'll just do like, we're gonna flashback to Zoro way long time ago.
when he was
but it's like an actual story of something, and it's like, okay,
like it's relevant to the
vignette.
But like when we do like a filler episode that's like a clip show, or we do a filler episode, or like not even filler, where they just do that thing where it's like, well, the first 8 minutes of every episode is us rehashing the last episode. Like that to me is like terrible.
Yeah.
But like a Froppy episode, I'll take. It's filler, but it's
there's understandable
story,
filler. You can do that. That's how things are supposed to be. But Bleach just, I guess
it was just for me. It's like there were just too many filler arcs in the Bleach. I was just like, it's to the point I'm like, I give up. Like,
don't they do his friends a lot in the filler too? His like high school friends.
Yes.
Oh, the ones that don't have powers. Oh no, the ones that do have powers.
No, they don't have powers.
That don't have powers.
Wait, they don't have powers?
Yeah.
It's just such horseshit.
They just do the nerds.
I'm like,
because I remember in the manga they come up a couple times where like it's literally them. They're like in the fake town or whatever, and I'm like, okay, first of all, why are they in the fake version of the town?
I was like, what is this?
But like they have this thing where Aizen just like walks past them, and I'm just like, that was a weird moment in the manga because I was like, this just didn't need to be here. But like I found out later, it's like, no, like they do whole filler arcs with these fucking characters.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't remember them at all.
Also, can we just talk about they do one of his friends is like a lesbian, and like but is just like groping other women all the time.
Oh,
just a bad thing in general.
Yeah,
like, just a bad portrayal.
Look, she's like
this
a
was
man.
What, like 2005 or some shit.
Yeah,
way back then.
Just a
early 2000.
But let's do some what you liked about the character, what you hated about the character.
Okay.
Renji
had dope hair. His Bankai was sick. He had that like ape thing. That was his animal.
That was the thing. I really liked
his personality.
He was the character that introduced us to like someone talking to his sword spirit.
Yeah. And then no one else did.
No one else does. We never see anybody else like do a like.
You just assume they jack off in a corner alone.
We get to see him get Bankai, which is really cool. Obviously, he gets passed by Ichigo and like the thing. I love that he just has tattoos for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It was a cool punk style thing to match kind of Ichigo.
Thing. It's very clear, like, oh no, he's the punk version of the Soul Reapers. I get it.
He just reminded me of Raphael, that's why I like him.
True.
I mean, Red.
But everybody, the bad thing about him is he's just dumb. He's dumb.
Yeah.
Well, he just got left behind. So it was like that thing about like, well, I did this character, but Ichigo already fought him, so like just Donkey Kong with a barrel. Like.
Hey, what about that bald guy? What'd you think of the bald guy? Remember him?
I don't remember
him. Bald guy, shut up. The one you know him. The one with the sticks. He was the bald guy.
He was cool. He was the only one. He was the only one who wasn't a captain or vice captain who was like tolerable to be like, okay, because he was just like, oh, like I'm in the division where like being third like in line is like being second in line.
Yeah.
In any other one, and I was like, okay, you're cool. And also like like Venture Bros, they do that thing where it's like the two henchmen, and you get to see kind of like the Beavis and Butt. It's like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah.
He and his pretty boy like brother, like it was like they're a good Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Like these are the common soldiers.
Exactly.
Like, they're like a good gleaner.
These are the regular people.
Yeah.
But then they spent time on them.
They give him a Bankai.
Which is so stupid, but it's bad. Yeah.
It was just a big, powerful version of what he had. It was.
But they give the pretty guy like a Bankai eventually too.
Do
and
they?
Like, they do when he fights like they do that literally like they fight the Ginyu Force. they give him one of the fights, and they literally have this whole thing where it's like, actually, he's got the strongest sword ever, probably.
What?
And it's just like, get the fuck out of here.
So he was the one with the colored hairline,
yeah, he
right?
had the little
the
little peacock thing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Again, I liked them as like throwaway garbage characters in the Invasion of Soul Society, but like then they just were there more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Genrasu, the general, Yamamoto.
The general?
Bald guy with the stick.
Yeah,
fire.
I know him. Yeah. His final form was okay. You know, I like how Aizen had to make something to specifically suppress his power, but that was it. Like, he got countered, you know? He was something that needed to be checked off. It seemed like lazy story writing, and he didn't have any other personality. So
what was lazy story writing was whatever his vice captain was, he just gets murdered off screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the manga, he literally just is like... There's one scene where he does his, like, activates his sword, and it's like a saber. He gets immediately trashed by Ichigo, and this is right before Bankai.
Oh, okay.
And then he literally just gets killed off screen later.
That's hilarious.
Like, just never gets exploded. Soifon. The short ninja girl.
Oh!
Who had a huge lady boner for the cat woman.
Understandably. Hey, that's the cat lady? Yoroichi? Yeah, you know.
I have,
one of the only...
Go for both characters, go.
Wait, hold up. So,
can I say it or do you want to say it?
I'll talk about Yoroichi. So, the main reason I, like, kept to with Bleach, because, like, going to Japan, I really didn't see a lot of POC characters, and
True.
I saw Yoroichi, and I was like, holy fuck. But then, like, throughout the series, I'm just like, god damn it.
Yeah, she's not really...
God, no, she's not.
She is a cat, like...
I mean, I like cats, and it's a black anime character, so I'm just like, put two together, great. But it's just...
in the Soul Society Ninja, they do the cool thing. It's like, oh, she used to be like the ninja queen.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool.
And
but then they just never do anything ever again.
Yeah, her fight with the, what is it, like the other ninja queen, the one you were talking about originally, her power was really cool. She had that death poison.
Yeah, just like double tap, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. That was a cool idea.
Well, I liked when they did her Bankai too. It's just a giant missile, and she's like, I didn't fucking choose this. And it's just like, yeah, it sucks. Like, but like I think they use it though. You know, it's back when like Bleach was getting really bad, and she uses it and it just doesn't kill something.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like, well, that was stupid.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing you're.
Because she fights the Lich like guy.
The Lich guy?
He's like the king of death or something, and like he just like kills it because he can.
Oh, that
Nito.
Guy.
He's Glaive Lord Nito.
The king of the Hollows.
Yeah.
He had one cool line, which was, "I'm bored." He talked to some like mini guy and he was like, "Hey, cut my army in half and have them fight each other to death."
That was a cool.
And I was like, "There you go." And then Aizen came and like just like janked him.
Yeah.
Like, there's
the Twin Swords guys.
Twin Swords guys.
The guy who had TV and the guy who like was a womanizer.
This is hard.
What? If you don't remember him, that's fine.
Okay,
just say
I don't remember
okay,
them.
Orihime. What did you like about Orihime?
Nothing. Here's the worst part. I think what really like fucked it with me with Bleach is because I listened with English dub. And I did not like the English.
Did she have bad?
She did. I don't know. It's
did
like
she give bad dub? Like, damn.
I don't know. It's just like a lot of the characters that like a lot of bad English dub. Like, no shame to like those voice actors. Like a lot of American voice actors.
To be fair, the guy who voiced Ichigo then went on to voice everyone else. So like,
it's like literally my hero's voice. I'm like, oh, Ichigo.
Yeah, I still do that. If I hear him, I'm still like, oh, it's Ichigo. Like, and it makes sense because he had a lot of bold like shonen statements.
It's just the way she talks. She's kind of like this, and I'm like, God, she's gonna pass out.
She was a complete damsel in distress.
Yeah,
like, there was nothing more that
with huge boobs,
with enormous chesticles.
Did you ever read Zombie Powder?
No.
What is that?
Zombie Powder is the first manga he ever wrote, which is actually a little bit more interesting, but
because it's shorter.
Read right there. Damn, no, the art style was more intense. It was a little bit more like edgy.
It's more the hollow story.
Exactly. But
you good?
They're twice the size of Orihime's, I swear to God. The guy has a problem. I don't understand. That's just how he draws women.
He loves them knockers.
The one thing...
At least he can draw both. He draws Rukia and like very regular people, and then he draws Orihime and every other people.
And then that one girl with the strawberry blonde. But the one thing about Orihime that I did like,
does have huge boobs.
the only one.
While we're on tits still.
Oh yeah, let's stay.
Do you remember when so like there's that moment, there's the moment of the centaur and Nell, And then there's the moment where they have like the shark one, and they do underboob.
Oh my god!
She's also a big character. She's a POC, right? You know?
Oh my god! I totally forgot.
Next level.
But like, I just wanted to make sure that all was like ingrained in our minds. Like, why the fuck does she have underboob like
How does that work?
She was one of the strongest, so who cares,
There
right?
was just so many like questions. I'm like, how did the physicality?
I just wanted to make sure that all left an impression.
Oh, that was a cosplayer one. That was a cosplayer
There's
one.
I'm just like, I'm looking at girls. I'm like, how do you do it?
People
It's just
do that.
fake tits.
Yeah.
So that's how you. That's how you do it.
But yeah,
Finish,
Orihime does have the only moment that I like about her is when she gets kidnapped or whatever. She has this choice thing where they like tell her that she has to go.
Orihime was a choice.
So
I'll leave that over there.
No, when they come to kidnap her, Horizon, like
mistake.
they give her this chant. They're like, oh no, you can come peacefully, and everything's like, I won't kill. Like that's why she does it. So she goes to Ichigo while he's sleeping, and she has this like light little monologue where she's like, yeah, like I just thought you were this person or whatever, and I grown really close, and yeah, I love you.
Oh, I remember
And then she leaves,
that.
and I'm like, that's an omission.
And then 16 years later, we come back to that. Never.
Of course, but I liked how she at least had the agency to admit something.
Yeah, it was a cool scene. Again, Bleach has cool scenes. They're just years apart from each other.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Ishida.
Ishida
guy.
is...
Bow and arrow guy.
The one with the glasses?
Bowen, you mean the Quincy.
The
Quincy. The guy who comes in, he starts, and I wanted him to be so cocky. Because the first thing he does is like, psh, Ichigo, you're not a real soul reaper. You can't even fight multiple hollows. I can kill like not here. I'm gonna do this charm. 20 are gonna come. I'm gonna kill 5.
I loved him. They just immediately trashed him.
I love when he said loved.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, literally, they get to Soul Society and they're like, you're already outmoded. You're already,
You're garbage.
are a pawn in this game. Like,
don't they give him that ability where he has to like sack half his life or something? One of those.
who knows?
You know,
I'm
he
sure
has,
at
like,
some point.
It was like, oh no.
Yeah, he wears the glove and he's like, putting on the glove. If I ever take it off, I lose my hand. And then he takes it off and it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like
doesn't matter.
It's like that bullshit in Death
If you're
Note.
weak AF.
Yeah.
Get on this level.
Well, he also fights his like master in that fight. Like, it's so
great.
stupid.
Yeah.
Chad.
I love Chad.
He's the whole reason I
love
watched this.
Chad.
Chad, it was a monster. He didn't stop, even when the manga told him to stop and the anime told him to stop. He didn't care. Chad didn't fucking care. It was Chad. He was clearly like,
I thought Chad
Western.
sucked.
No, what? Chad was awesome.
It was like right to the heart.
He was just not an active character.
Of course.
No.
But he was awesome.
He was the tallest and strongest. Of course, he's not.
But like,
the most
if he's gonna
active.
be tall, like they need to be funny. Like that's
Okay.
they needed to have
Alright.
just done moments where Chad was just like, I don't know how to be, and it was like it had been funny, but instead it was just like, I'm gonna try and do something, but like.
Bleed.
For some reason, I'm kind of written like I still don't know Japanese.
No, he was done like that. I just thought he would be an interesting.
Chad's kind of like the first season of Steven Universe of Garden. Like he's just
yeah.
tall and like
He's
just say
he
like
is that
one
stone
word.
wall.
Yeah.
It
I
is
feel like
kinda
he doesn't
cool.
do a lot of stuff wrong. I guess.
There you go. He leaves, which is the right thing to do. That's what I was gonna say. He's not ruined. That character isn't ruined.
And then now the character that I really want to know you guys' opinion on, Hitsugaya,
Who the fuck is that?
the ice boy.
Oh my god! He had a hard-on for ice. Okay, we are all aware of that. Every single... there was more ice powers, and then he stuck in water powers, and he's like, oh, and then freeze. Rukia, they're finally giving her the ice thing with her... That was stupid. Why did they do that? I think he liked drawing ice. I really think. But to give this... short-ass looking little boy this fucking ice bankai and just
Shota Captain, man.
it was he just what is it like he used his bankai and then he fainted or some bullshit like he had a nosebleed.
I don't know. He did like a thing where it was like, oh no, he's gonna be like covered in ice. He can fly and shit.
Yeah, he's a dragon.
Every single movie and every single filler, just fucking jacking off.
Oh
to
yeah,
Hitsugaya.
more ice.
Like, oh
more
man,
ice.
he loved it. He was so popular though.
Apparently.
People loved him.
remember-
Because it was like, he's a 600-year-old boy child. But
Yeah.
like, it was in like the punk Bleach anime and people were just all about it.
I remember
yeah.
going on a DeviantArt. Jesus.
Oh, God.
Fucking Christ. Like literally scrolling down, I'm just like, I'm just gonna deactivate my account
That
right
stuff
now.
is still there,
man.
by the way.
It's still
I
there.
guess he was the original Shota bait for that
For
generation.
like our generation,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love little boy.
Yeah, I definitely remember him like throughout the movies. I'm like, Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man, God,
this piece
he's
of
in
shit.
everything.
Too much. He liked drawing ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Do we have anything else we can dig up from the grave?
We forgot the main character, Ichigo.
We did. Yeah, we did for a reason. There's nothing worth talking about with Ichigo. He never has an opinion.
I like the style. One of the things I do like about Bleach, remember like in between chapters he would just draw like 10 characters in like a style. He was like, they're all at the beach, or they're all
outfits.
hitmen,
He was about
or they're
outfits.
all like fall. It was like, you know, that was a cool thing. It was like, it's a bunch of like, you know, skinny 25-year-old like
fashion models.
Fashion models. It was like, I just remember that like is also just really appealing to like a teenage audience. Like, it's cool to just see like these attractive looking like characters dressed in like
he drew the one model very well. It didn't help me that Adora just drew that way better in One Piece in every chapter. He's like, oh, by the way, I've got these like 20 spreads.
But that's gonna be a KO.
Yeah.